Hi, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from Mason Works Marketing, here with another Conscious Business Zone episode with Kate Blake. Catherine Blake Thomason. I want to call you Kate because that's how I know you. But anyway, hi, Kate. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Great. Well, we are lucky today to have Kate as a guest again because she is a joy architect. And really, as the times are changing and the energies are changing, there isn't anything more important than us recapturing our joy, in my humble opinion. And what I'd love to ask Kate today about is to talk about why it's so hard to discover our joy for ourselves and why she's found a way to help us do that. So Kate, could you help us with finding our joy, please?
Yes, it's a great question. I think we need to clarify when we talk about finding our joy, what kind of joy we're talking about. The kind of joy we're talking about is that lasting joy, that grounded in your inner being kind of joy that doesn't go away when you have a moment alone. So people can find joy moments when they're connected with their friends or loved ones, or heck, enjoying a dish of ice cream. But depending on how much love you have for ice cream. Yeah. So, but that's not what we're talking about. The joy that I'm talking about helping people with is the kind of joy that you don't need to say goodbye to. It is a connection with yourself. It is a connection with the being of who you are, the way you can fully enter into your own life in vis-a-vis other people and stay in that space of flowing joy.
So it's a divine connection that doesn't have any judgment or any story to it. It's a connection that once you have that, you're more grounded and secure, correct?
Exactly. And I think the reason why it's so difficult for people is that there's such a focus on doing in the world. And we don't really understand the value of entering into a deeper level of relationship with ourselves, which is being. And that sense, some people say, well, okay, moving through all the levels of being, from spiritual down to physical, mental, emotional, etc., that seems hard because that seems like there's a lot to do about it. But really, it starts with being conscious of moving out of that space of belief that your joy is somewhere out there and moving into, you know what, it's in here. I know it. It's there. And it really is. It really is. So that's what I'm so passionate about helping people with, because that sense of joy can be so quickly found. Because when we understand that it's in here and we start uncovering it, it's so exciting. And it builds on itself. So it's one conscious breath can create, for the first moment, the idea that, my gosh, my head doesn't have to completely run the show here. Just small gift. But each gift can create a string of moments that is just an endless source of joy. So those are the boundaries. I mean, even people who have created a spiritual practice, and these are some of the people I've been really helping. They've had a spiritual practice. They know what it means to meditate, but they don't fully grasp how to move completely into being, because this is not just a spiritual experience. It is physical. Moving the spiritual all the way through the physical being is essential for grounding ourselves in this time, here, now. Which some people can say is timeless, but not split hairs. I mean, so this is about really moving all the way in. So when they're having trouble finding their joy and they're saying, hey, you know, I have been at this spiritual practice for so long and I'm still not getting it. That's when it's like, okay, it's not fully embodied. You haven't fully brought it in. And so that's where I've really helped people that have had trouble. And you know, the other spectrum is for people who are having a difficult time with meditation.
Right.
I never became. I've been meditating for over 20 years. I was never a meditator that sat in rooms and cramping up my legs. You know, that's never how I went about the business of it, because I went straight into living meditation. Living meditation is how you can live with your being. Now, a lot of people call this your higher self. I don't know. Your higher self is something, I don't know what, up there, right? Your greater self. Your greater self is what you are wanting to live in relationship with as you move about your world. And that means you're walking around. Most of us don't spend our whole life sitting in lotus while we are trying to be who we are, right? That's not how it works. So what I teach is living meditation. And that means being in connection with yourself as you go about life.
Well, Kate, I would like to ask a couple questions about this, because I feel that a lot of the obstacles that people have in finding this connection is that they've been taught that working on themselves or giving themselves a lot of time and energy is selfish. And they're trained from, especially as women, we're trained to give it out everywhere. And so how do you feel is a great way to break through this indoctrination? Because I really feel I was indoctrinated in that way. And it doesn't serve people.
No. Here's the thing. When we realize who the self is, being selfish is exactly what you need to be. That's the trick. When people believe that the self is the ego or some identity or some small meat body that's going around the world, then we don't understand that being self-centered is of value to anyone.
To everyone.
It isn't. I mean, if we are going about the business of life with a sense of an identity that we're trying to push on people, that isn't useful to people. But when you understand who you are, which comes from the understanding of your being, it comes from grounding that inner awareness of who you are, then you know that you are the divine. And to be self-centered is to be centered in everyone through your point of view. Beautiful. Your connection, right? Through your connection with the divine. And each of us hold a valuable viewpoint. We hold what I would call the divine soul essence.
Right.
That is, it is personal. It is personal divinity. We have, each of us, a way that we want to love the rest of life. So, for example, it is why we do so many different things in the world. Doing, when it's done with a sense of being, is beautiful.
Right.
It's grounded in that divinity. That's where you see the greats in the world. That's where you see the beings who are really serving through their joy. They are being themselves.
Right. Well, and you can sense that with you, is that your sense of being, you're very comfortable in your skin, and you're always looking to serve, but you're not in service as a depleted way. You're assisting, right? I have another quick question that always I wonder about is that, okay, so I want to connect with my divine self more, but I have issues that I can't see them, and I my story, my life story might include them, but why do you think it is that we can't see them, and how can we move through that?
Well, when you go inside and you can start to understand how to separate your issues from you.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
This is when you can start to understand how to resolve them. And now, I always think it's funny when I hear gurus talk as if they've got the answer, right? They're like I have spent all this time understanding the ultimate God, this ultimate divine being. And I was like, here's the real thing. When you decide, and this is a quick way to get there. So you save yourself sitting in a dark room or a dark cave or whatever, whoever knows, many years. When you do the following exercise, you become aware of looking out through your eyes. So you can just do it just right now. Just become aware of looking out through your eyes. When you sit in that awareness just for a moment, you can start to see that there is a clear space that is looking at stuff. When you are in this clear space, the awareness, staying in that awareness, that is you.
Mm-hmm.
That is the you that can look at your stuff. And when you look at the stuff, the issues that come up, the anxiety, the anger, the whatever you might be experiencing in the moment, that feeling of an issue is a discomfort. It is not in this space of awareness. This awareness is the pure you. It's the one who knows what to do. It's the one who knows how to take care of this, right? So you find this space of awareness and you look at that discomfort in you and you get familiar with it because you created it, when you look at it from this ultimate space of awareness, you can start to understand, where did it come from? What is it about? How does this issue want to move out of my life? It has if it's coming up for you, it means it's time to move out. So it has a volition to move out of your way. So you can start to work with it that way. Mm-hmm. So the issues that we are often blind to is because we have lost this perspective. And when we gain back the perspective of who we are, this awareness holds the ultimate divinity in all of us. So we can create this space of awareness and look at what we need to look at without being in it and blindsided by all the things that it does in our life that we prefer it not to do.
Well, a lot of times when you're in it, if you have a reaction to it right away without having a time, giving yourself the gift of processing it, then you miss the gift, and then you get to have the gift again.
Yes, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh, not fun. Well, this weekend I was at a event, and someone said in a prayer, kind of a meditation, you are more precious than you could ever know. And I started crying. I mean, because that's what you're talking about, is that connection to where you are more precious as a piece of the divine God, universal source, whatever your words are. Right. You are that spark as well. But we don't remember that. And that's why I think the joy work that you do is so important. It reconnects you back to that divine spark. And it isn't like it was ever anywhere. It was always there. It just was hidden underneath your to-do list or to-be list or whatever. Right?
And that is my joy in being. I love to be since I am grounded in my being, I see another person who I'm working with as a divine being sitting in front of me.
Right.
And I connect with that preciousness. And it gives the person I'm working with the opportunity to remember, that space of divinity that they're like, wow, I remember that. Like when I was a kid, I had that, I had that me-ness. And so it's, when someone sees you, the real you, all the masks come off.
Right.
All the masks come off. And then you can really, with authenticity, you can connect. And that is what I enjoy doing in my coaching sessions when I'm coaching one-on-one with somebody, is we look at the soul essence, because I can see them.
Right.
And this and the divinity in me is usually in charge of the session. I don't put anything else in other identities or whatever in there. So yeah, I make sure I'm in that good space when we're in the space together. And that's the beauty of it, because that's what I love. It's like, okay, now let's remember together where you decided to come into this world to enjoy yourself. What did you decide you wanted to enjoy about being here? Why has this planet called you into your beingness?
Right.
And that's something that's the personal divine. That's the divine that says, hey, I want to express divinity in dance. I want to express my beingness, my divinity in discussing divine properties. I want to connect heart to heart with people so they know what it means to have a soul-centered relationship. There are any number of vehicles through which we can connect with our whole being. And that's the game we're playing, right? That's the game we're playing. We each come in with our own viewpoint. We learn from each other. We play with each other, and we build that full sense of being together with that greater self, that divinity, that wholeness.
Right. Beautiful. Well, from my perspective, what you do that's very different than most of the people I work with is that you are able to help someone not look outside themselves anymore for their joy. And I say that, I hope it's understood what I'm trying to say, because it's big. It's really big.
Yeah.
Because we have been trained, if we're parents, we had the joy of holding our baby and that ecstatic joy. But those are moments, those are memories. And what you offer is a way to reconnect back to your essence and that playful spark of joy that embodied here and wanted to co-create and play and do art and music and dance and whatever that the creation that gives you energy rather than takes energy, but you have to be able to align with it. And I think we've been trained to look outside ourselves for so long and be good girls and or bad girls, as the case may be, but I think that's been a handicap, and it can be shifted now. So that's why I'm so excited about what you do, Kate, and I hope people will connect with you. So Kate, could you tell people a little bit about your free offer on your website and give them a way to connect with you so that they can explore how they can have more joy in their life, please? I want this to spread like a virus.
Yes, it's great. And it is exciting because one of the things that has become so clear to me now is that it is so accessible. This joy, connecting with this joy can be so fast. And so I think on the screen, there's my name, and my website is my name, KatherineBlakeThomason.com. And on there in the website, I have some free audio downloads you can download about entitled Finding Your Joy No Matter What. And of course, connect with me. Ask me anything you'd like. Let's chat. Let's find a way, right? Because if you have been frustrated with living with a spiritual practice that doesn't fully bring you into your the life that you want to live, that you say to yourself, I love this life, then there is something disconnected. And that is what we can patch up in a one-on-one session. And if you are looking to really understand how to plant yourself in your being and understand the laws of being, the spiritual laws of how to connect the being that you are with the rest of life and play, then my joyful meditation class is that class where I teach about how to practice living meditation.
Right. Well, you are a living example of this work, and I'm so happy that I got to experience your work, and the energies that come through you are so beautiful and uplifting, that I really feel that if people gave themselves the gift of this, we would live in a whole different world. And it feels like it's time now. I mean, the idea of peace and love can only be achieved if we are consciously making choices to be that ourselves. Yeah. And so this is a great opportunity to get rid of those little obstacles that may still be there, no matter what you've done. Right?
And yeah, some people I've found who have had a spiritual practice have a big obstacle because they're become somewhat indoctrinated by even the spiritual practices around them, saying that they should be certain ways. But when we connect into what's there for you, the actual way you enjoy loving life, it's natural, it's easy, it's filled with grace, then it's not hard. I've worked with a woman who, when she connected with her soul essence, she said, I left that back in my childhood. She said, I didn't realize that had value until now.
Wow.
So she has lived with an ability to meditate, an ability to connect in certain ways, and has found some of the yummy divine energy that can flow from that. But in her day-to-day life, she was like disconnected, because to flow love didn't feel natural to her. It didn't feel like something she really wanted to do until she was alone somewhere, right? Like no, this is that what we're talking about is how we love to connect with life. And that is sometimes even it's elusive for us until we really can feel it in a visceral way.
Wonderful. Well, we do have a few people that have been able to catch us as we've been on. And Lisa Hada is saying, wonderful sharing. Thank you for this session. So I'm glad that some people were able, even though it is, during work time in where we are. So hopefully people will be able to see this as the replay. And also this session will be on YouTube later. So you'll be able to follow more and more and more about what Catherine Blake Thomason, AKA Kate to me.
You can call me Kate, yeah.
I'm not, I don't know if I'm retrainable to call you anything but Kate. But anyway, but thank you so much. I just adore your work. I adore what you're doing. I think this is what Conscious Business Zone is about, is making conscious choices, finding ways to get clear and be the love and the peace and the joy that we really are, and show up as that in everything we do. Yeah. So thank you, Kate. Please, everyone, you can PM Kate, and we'll have links below this. So please get a hold of her if you have any questions. You will not be sorry.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you. Thank you.